maybe go with, what's your name? What do you do? Kind of where you're at in life right now.
Yeah. Don Kaufman. I am 43, and I work in finance, and I'm a trainer in finance. So I build training presentations for financial advisors and those who are learning to do their job for the first time. They're onboarding, and so I sit in a desk a lot. I
Nice.
sit down all day. I
Yeah.
have a sit stand desk, yet I still sit a lot of the time, and it's a very sedentary job, and it's kind of crazy because sometimes I'll look at my step counter at the end of a long day, and I'm like, wow, I've got 1,500 steps. I need to kick it in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lots of sitting, kind of the standard American lifestyle
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
My goodness.
Yeah.
But
What were your goals coming into the program, coming into working together?
so I actually just looked back earlier today at our chat because I wanted to refresh. I mean, we always remember certain things certain way. Our mind remembers things a certain way. But I went back to our chat before I started, and there were a couple key things that I had said in there. One was, I've lost weight a lot of times, and always found myself putting the weight back on.
Sure.
Another one was I wanted to be sure that I was being equipped with good, well, we'll say good programs and principles, because I would go to the gym and I was like, I don't know what to do.
Sure.
I mean, I follow plenty of things, but I remember what I had before I started working with you was this article from Men's Health that had like 7 moves that you could repeat, just a circuit that you could repeat 3 times.
Mhm.
Or if you couldn't do 3 times, just do as many as you could, certain workouts and stuff. And it was primarily focused just on my shoulders. But then I was like, oh, what about the rest of me? you know?
Sure.
So I wanted a good program, something that I could follow, whether it was going to the gym or doing something at home.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a ton of equipment at home, and I still don't, but I did add a little bit to it during our program. But
Yeah.
going to the gym or at home, I wanted something that I could do, and then occasionally I travel, so I like the ability of something flexible that I can do while I'm on the run too, or on the road too. And
Yeah.
so those were kind of my goals originally. Is I wanted something I could follow, a good program. I wanted to be able to stick to it, and I wanted something that once I hit my goals, I don't feel like I've made it
Sure.
and I can let off the gas. I wanted to continue and have more motivation beyond the program too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I remember you saying that, like you said, you had lost weight before, but
Hmm.
you wanted a more consistent, so that then once you got to where you wanted to be, you can continue the lifestyle instead of, some of the other things you've done in the past. It was really intense and you maybe lost
Hmm.
weight faster. But
Yep.
then once you got there, it was like, oh, I'm just going to revert back to
Right.
regular life because this was not enjoyable.
Yeah, because like I always had goals of like, hey, I want to not lose my breath going up the stairs.
Hmm.
You get there quickly with any fitness program you do,
Yep.
but and so that goal wasn't enough for me to be able to sustain. So it's like it wouldn't motivate me beyond the program or beyond a month
Hmm.
of working on this. And so I needed something that was a little bit deeper, and finding something sustainable was good. I'd tried other programs too, and like I said, I'd lost weight lots of times. And a few months before I started, I had done a triathlon,
Hmm.
and so I felt like I should have been in great shape, because I just did, and over an hour and a half worth of straight
Yeah.
activity, doing this triathlon, and I just, I should have been in great shape, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how much it reverts. And you actually said something to me early on in the program too, where it's like I was working on kind of changing my body composition a little bit. I really wanted that,
Mhm.
Wanted to gain muscle, wanted to lose some weight, and do those things at the same time, which is hard. But when I every time I'd done something before, it's like I stayed the same shape. I just got smaller,
Right.
And so I was like, I've had times where I can see my abs again, or I had a little bit of muscle or something like that, and it felt good. But I mostly was the same shape, just smaller.
Right.
And
Same
so I
proportions, but just a little bit smaller.
exactly, yeah. So it's different, and I was hoping to change that, because
Mhm.
I didn't like the shape that I was.
Sure. Wanted to do that body recomp instead of just
Yeah.
proportionally shrink you
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
Um, you talked about doing triathlons and different things. What was kind of your health like right before you and I started working together? Like coming into the program, kind of where we at physically, mentally, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, had to get a I did get a blood test every year for work. It's for my health benefits, and so like if I meet certain targets, I can get discounted health. And so I've had times where I would start a program and I'd lose some weight because I wanted my BMI to be at a certain spot,
Mhm.
you know, and otherwise I didn't qualify for that discounted health insurance. And so I'd done that, but like basically where I would describe it is it was just very by the day. I would wake up with some aches and some pains, and I'd be like, I don't want to get up, and I still wake up sometimes that way where I've got some aches and pains, but it's funny because now the aches and pains are like, oh, I felt like I got a good workout, and so
Yeah.
so it feels better.
Uh-huh.
It's not pain. It's just more like, all right, I feel like I actually earned that soreness. And
Sure.
so it's like I'd have aches and pains. I didn't want to get up out of bed. Most mornings I was tired and sluggish. I was struggling to keep myself awake during the day at work. I would say health wise, I was winded going up the stairs, which again shouldn't happen after being able to do a sprint triathlon.
Sure.
And then I had probably some numbers that were a little bit elevated. Like I think my cholesterol was elevated, um, and I can't remember if there was something else. Yeah. So the good cholesterol was too low, and the bad cholesterol was too high.
Sure.
So it's like those kind of things.
Yeah, which really kind of gets on the scarier side as we age. When
Hmm.
we're in the youth, we can kind of we got time, but then as we
Yeah.
age, those numbers definitely take a toll in how we feel, our testosterone, all of that good stuff as well. So,
Yeah.
um, what started to kind of shift or change as we started working together? What was different? What clicked for you?
Yeah. So at first, I didn't change much, not like right away. And I think it was because my mindset was, let's ease into this
Hmm.
so that it's sustainable. I didn't want to do anything extreme, and I actually got sick. And so it was kind of funny because I was working on the foundational exercises and things, kind of building up areas that were weak, or underdeveloped because of my day job and sitting all day. And so I didn't really change much about what I was eating at first, and I wasn't losing weight right away, and then I got sick, I lost some weight, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh, I cannot lose that. Like I can't revert back.
Sure.
And it hit me, kind of flipped the switch where I was like, all right, I can do this. I can make some other small changes, so it was like, really being more focused on hitting my calorie goal,
Hmm.
and not justifying as many times as I used to exceeding the calorie goal. So like it's okay, if I exceed my calorie goal occasionally,
Sure.
or something like that. But staying more focused on the protein and the calories, those were the two biggest changes that I made early on. As
Hmm.
I realized I was probably getting maybe 60 grams of protein a day,
Sure.
if that, in some cases. Aside from days where we'd have like pulled pork or hamburgers or something like that. But
Yeah.
I was really low on protein, and I had no clue how little protein I was actually getting.
Yeah.
And so first, the biggest changes I made initially to kind of help keep the weight loss that I finally started seeing, was hitting my protein goal and my calorie goal. And those two things were first and foremost what started to make a big difference for me,
Yeah.
because I started having the energy I needed. I wasn't getting sore after a workout, not like I used to, and like the recovery was a lot better. And then we had a call looking at some progress pictures, and I could start to see some of
Yeah.
the areas where I was building some muscle, and I was like, "Holy cow!" Like it's actually happening.
This is working. The
Yeah,
proportions are changing. It's not just getting smaller. Change is
yeah,
happening.
yeah. That's ridiculous. So that was kind of the biggest thing. It's like I didn't change much at first, but then when I got sick, I was like, all right, I got to really focus on what I'm eating,
Hmm.
and so I focused on my calorie goal and my protein goal, and those two things started resolving a lot of the issues.
Yeah.
Like in the past, I would try to reduce my calories, and then I would just be hungry, and then I
Yeah.
was hangry, and it was like I wasn't fun to be around every time. And then I would have a couple good days, and I'd be like, all right, I'll reward myself, and I would eat something crappy and feel like crap, and then I would go back to, all right, I got to do something different, I got to do something different,
Yep.
and every time it was very, very wishy-washy, and I didn't like that approach, and so, like, working on consistency was super big.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think something for you that I noticed was a lot of the mindset shifts that happened over time. Because you came
Mm,
into the program saying that you wanted the time to be different. You didn't want to experience that same thing with kind of the yo-yo, the up and downs. You wanted something that was more consistent, not the all or nothing type of a thing. So
right.
maybe talk a little bit about what what changed in your mind mentally, according to like food and workouts and stuff.
Yeah, one thing was focusing on why I'm eating,
Hmm.
and keeping track of, or at least trying to recognize, from a mindful perspective, what's drawing me to eat right now.
Hmm.
And so a lot of times I found I was just bored, and I'm like, oh, well, it's 2 o'clock. I better eat something,
Sure.
or something like that. And so finding out the reasons that I didn't have a reason to eat except for had a thought I should eat this ice cream or this cookie or this whatever, and I
Hmm.
would go do it, and I would come back and I was super tired at work, for the rest of the afternoon. I'm like, why am I so tired? But it was the mindset around why I was eating first, and then from there it was kind of looking at things more holistically,
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, I had an extra cookie, an extra Oreo or something like that, right now, but that is a small thing in the long run when you look at the entire week.
Right.
And so I would look at it, and before I would be like, dang it, I ate an extra Oreo. Now my day's shot. And so I would eat whatever else, and I'll
Might as well
restart
eat the
tomorrow.
sleeve. Yeah, I'll eat the
Exactly.
sleeve and
Yeah.
I'll start tomorrow.
Goodness. And it's crazy how much that kind of thing actually happens. And then, but this was able to help me shift that, because one extra Oreo over a week of a
Mhm.
calorie deficit is not killing anything.
Right.
And so I just said, all right, I enjoyed that Oreo, and now I'm right back at it. And
Yes.
it was just like it was just a shift in how I saw those, what used to be considered mistakes or
Mhm.
something that I did wrong or bad, was now just looked at as like, hey, I enjoyed that Oreo, and if I decide to eat another Oreo tomorrow, then I'm gonna enjoy it too, and that's it. Like, and it's not gonna derail me,
Right.
because it's not this negative thing. It's a tiny thing in the
Yeah.
long run, and I can make small adjustments everywhere else to make it so that didn't hinder my progress.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I love to see over the course of working with you the adjustments and the changes that you made mentally through the thought work, through watching the videos and then applying it and
Yeah.
asking questions like, hey, in this video you said this, this, and this. What did you mean by that? Like that was really a really fun part on my
Ye-
end for sure.
Yeah, well, and it's crazy too because I would take notes while I was doing that, and then I'd be like, all right, I want to focus on this for this week, or I want to think about this a little bit more. And I actually have like a little health vision paper that's right in front of me
Mhm.
during my work day, and so I'm reminded of my goals and my habits and things just all the time. And you do get used to seeing the same thing over and over again, so
Sure.
sometimes it doesn't have the same effect long term. But another really big mindset thing for me was just kind of recognizing that it really didn't matter if the number on the scale dropped each time. And I'd have times where it went up, but
Sure.
I was able to shift my mindset too, that like my weight's just a number.
Mhm.
It's literally just a representation of gravity,
Yeah.
you know, and there were other times where the number went up, but then my measurements went down,
Sure.
and I noticed some improvements in other areas. And so, like, just seeing the scale as just a tool to kind of help me evaluate what did I do? Like, did I have more days where I didn't have as much of a deficit, or was I a little bit generous in my scoop of whatever I was
Sure.
eating? I was probably generous,
Yeah.
and it may not have been the most accurate tracking, but it's okay because
Mhm.
I see other things, happening,
Yep.
and then every morning get up, get ready, and I'd see the progress that I was making. They're like, all right, this is working, this is
Yes.
good.
Yeah. I remember the time that you texted me and said, "Hey, I have abs this morning. I saw them. They came out."
Right.
Heck yeah. So
Yeah, for
awesome.
sure.
So what were the some of the tangible results that you saw, like inches, weight, like things like that?
Yeah, my waist dropped 6 inches,
Dang,
which is
that's
crazy
awesome.
because all the clothes that were super tight now they're loose and I need a belt for.
Mhm.
Shirts that like even this shirt, which is actually designed to look better even if you're a little bit heavier. It's one of those things where my stomach was pushing up against it all the
Mm,
time, and now it's not.
awesome.
Um, I think I lost an inch in each leg, each of my thighs. I didn't do too many measurements though, so it's like,
Sure.
so I wasn't as concerned about that as much as what I could see and what I could
Yeah.
experience because I wanted my clothes to fit. I wanted,
Mhm.
I'm wearing dress pants to church that I hadn't worn in 6 years. I was letting my stepson wear those pants because they fit him. They were a little big on him, but at the same time, they weren't ones that I could wear. So I was letting
Yeah.
him wear them so they'd at least get some use. And now I can wear them, and they're my favorite pants again. But so I saw that I could wear clothes that I couldn't wear before. I feel better wearing the clothes that I'm wearing.
Mhm.
I don't feel like when I'm getting a picture taken that I have to suck in my gut or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just stand there for pictures and
Don't even think about it.
yeah.
I
And so
I think people, that's one of the things with feeling confident with how you look and how you feel. Like, it frees up so much brain space. There
hmm
are situations that you don't even think about, like taking pictures,
yeah.
where with a lot of people that I work with, that's a self-conscious. They worry about it, they think about it, they look at a picture that they took, in a period of their life where they didn't love how they look, and they remember the thoughts and the feelings that go along with it. Um, but that's incredible that you've gotten to that point where it's that there's a whole brain space portion box in your
hmm
mind that doesn't even have to deal with that anymore.
Read up. Yeah. Yeah. I had someone comment on my results picture and said, "You lost even your ponytail," because I had such long hair when I
Yeah.
started.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, so yeah, it's just so much different. There are a lot of tangible results.
Mhm.
Like you said, I got up that one morning and I could see my abs. I was like, that's crazy.
Mhm.
And then they just become more and more visible. And then I remember this one time I was at the gym, or actually no, I think it was just right here, and I was just doing some flies and stuff like that, and I could just the muscles were just like bigger than I thought they would look at that moment, and I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, that's awesome. I like that. That motivates me and pumps me up. So
Mhm.
I got some new tank tops that I could wear to the gym,
Yes.
and now you can see I can see my shoulders even better when I'm lifting and I'm at the gym. So it's continues to motivate beyond that.
I love that. And I love that's one of my favorite like reinforcements is like when you achieve something good, like back in the day
Hmm.
you'd achieve something and then you'd reward yourself with, food and
Yep.
which kind of counteracts what you're trying to do versus you do
Right.
something, you get to where you want to be weight wise or look wise or whatever, and then you reward
Hmm.
yourself with some tank tops, which then that fuels, it's that positive
Hmm.
reinforcement, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Um, what was like maybe your favorite thing about working together or like your um, what you liked most about the program.
I like the coaching session because, like you said, always had questions, and I'm a processor, and so like I'll see information and then I'll think about it and then I get questions later.
Hmm.
So it's like I didn't ever have questions randomly coming up. And the first couple times we met, I was like, "Oh, I don't have any questions. I don't have any
Yeah.
questions." And then I started watching the videos, and then I got myself like just a notebook, a consistent place where I could write things down, and the questions would come up, and I'd be like,
Hmm.
"I wonder if it's better for me to, to skip this treat right now or to eat it and move forward." And then I would come to the next coaching session and I would say, "Hey, here's the scenario. This is what I was thinking, and I was
Hmm.
trying to decide what to do. How do I work on that thought work?" And so that was probably the biggest thing for me, is
Yeah.
because, I mean, even seeing your, just the other day, I saw one of your posts on social media, and I read through it, and I was like, hold on, that's all the same stuff that's in this program.
Hmm.
You're not hiding it, but a lot of times we just need motivation and we need accountability and we need
Hmm.
someone to talk to. And so I absolutely loved going to the coaching sessions and bringing questions, because then I felt accountable
Yeah.
to what I was committing. And I was like, all right, I actually need to spend 5 minutes today without screens.
Yeah.
Don't just check the box and say I
Right.
did it because it took me 5 minutes to fall asleep. But instead, it was keeping me accountable, even to the
Hmm.
little things, like 5 minutes of screen free quiet time or 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like it gives me something to hold accountable to, and it's not like there's any negative if I don't do it.
Sure.
Like you're not hard on me or anything like that.
Right. It's not my
But
style.
yeah, the whole point was I was looking forward to it, and it gave me something to work toward so that I
Hmm.
could report back and say, "Look at this. Check
Yeah.
out this awesome thing, either that I learned or I was able to overcome this challenge or whatever."
Yeah.
And so the coaching calls were priceless.
Love
They
that.
were the most important part.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. That makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
Um, so if somebody were like on the fence or thinking about joining the program or at least like hopping on a call and chatting with me or whatever, um, but wasn't necessarily sure, what would you
Mhm.
say to them?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely worth the investment. And it was funny because it was on the holidays, and when I was talking to you and saying I'm not totally sure yet,
Hmm.
um, thinking about it, got to think through all the logistics, and you responded with hey, you could think of it as a present to yourself, or you could think of it as an investment in your future, or something like that. And at the time, those don't really resonate completely. Because I didn't see the results, and I didn't
Yep.
see the you can do this and you can also continue beyond the program.
Yeah.
And so, but that's what I would reiterate: it is an investment. It is worth the cost, and if you can make room or whatever, if you're concerned about the budget, just see what you can do to make room. You'll find it, because, like, I mean, I find myself eating out less.
Sure.
It's not that I don't eat out. I
Right.
do eat out, but I eat out less. I do a little bit of meal prep, and so, like, grocery bill maybe goes down a little bit too.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of those little things that add up and make it worth it, because again, you can show up day in day out for your family, for your work, for the things through the program, and so it's 100% worth it. And again, like I said before, you don't hide your things. You know, you share your information
Mhm.
openly, and yet sometimes we just still can't do it. You know,
Yep.
some people can, and they're great at doing things on their own. Some people benefit from a coach. Some people benefit from an organized program,
Right.
and that's what all these things are, right? It's do it yourself mixed with the ability to work with someone who can help
Mhm.
you with accountability, mixed with the ability to continue and learn and grow and find the best things that are out there.
Mhm.
So it's, yeah, it's phenomenal and 100% worth it.